What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Kibbetech. We got a pretty big new tool Tuesday going on right now. Come check it out. All right, so I am standing in the laser. That's what this is. This is a laser. So I'll do flat plate over here, 5x10 with a double pallet loader. So while it's cutting, we can load another sheet. When this one's done, this table will slide out, that one will come in, and it'll start cutting on that one. Hopefully just keep it running all the time. And then over there is the tube laser side of it. So it shares the same laser head, and this laser head goes all the way over, and it'll cut all the tubing. So yeah, we decided to go with the combo machine just for space, and the price was right. So start lasering all our own stuff. All right, so over here is where the tube laser will happen. So if you look down there, it's got that chuck all the way down there. So that will slide all the way up to here, and it rotates. So basically we'll be able to load a full 20-foot piece of tube in here and cut out all the tubing that we use. So like this tube right here, just an example, this is like one of our tube chassis center mount front end tubes that we have. So this is all laser notch. This one's already been prepped and everything. When we do laser tubes, we usually add some keyways so that'll lock into the next tube that it lands on, keep it within tolerance and stuff like that. This machine will process all this for us in-house now, so we don't have to outsource all that, because we've been outsourcing a lot more laser tube and flat plate. Just made sense to do it on our own now. Yeah, it's a big step, and tooling and money and stuff like that. It was, wasn't a cheap machine. Now we don't have to wait. We outsource. Sometimes takes 2, 3, 4 weeks to get something back, and I don't like waiting for anything. I'm very impatient, and I like to just be in control of every process. This will help out with all that. All right, over here I'm standing in the cutting bed of the laser. So it's a 5x10 capacity cutting bed. So 5 feet this way, 10 feet this way, which is nice when we're doing like aluminum and other things, but like chromoly sheets only come in 3x12. So we'll cut those down a little bit to do a 3x12 in here. This is where all our laser cutting, like all our flat plate stuff, from a simple tab like this, cut with nitrogen so you don't get any scale on the edge, and you can just weld right to it. You've seen other stuff we showed you before, like the center mount arms. We'll make all those here in-house. For forming our flat plate, we have another new tool on the way for doing that. I'll show you that later when it shows up. Yeah, hopefully we could get our lead times down considerably, and then yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get caught up on in here, and hopefully this thing will be running in the next couple weeks, and we'll be cutting out a lot of stuff. So with our combo machine, I decided to get the enclosed unit, mainly just because of the dust and like the smell and stuff like that. So this thing does come with a dust collector. So the whole thing's pretty much enclosed. And overall, just when it's all set up, it looks pretty sweet. So you guys seen us set up like the 5-axis before, and that's, a couple day thing. Get the machine in, get the air and the electrical done, and then it's pretty much go from there. So this thing is gonna take a little bit more time, because if you walk around and look at all this stuff that it came with, box here, another box there, 2 more, 3 more here, 2 more there, 2 more there. There's still another box behind that van over there. A lot of stuff that comes with this, and all those accessories that come with it. There's the dust collector, the chiller for the laser, transformer, air assist, all that stuff takes up a lot of room, and that would pretty much eat up the whole floor space in that whole shop. So we're actually gonna build a mezzanine above the machine for all the accessories to keep everything out of the way. Once the machine is set up, we're gonna have to then build the mezzanine and then set up all the accessories up there, and then we'll start the electrical to there. And with the electrical, we are completely maxed out on power on all 4 of our units. So we gotta upgrade the 200 amp panel powering that unit to a 400 amp. Pretty much all these new tools is gonna take another about 195 amps. A lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to get done, and now it's just hurry up and wait for them to get their part done to where we can build the part that we need to make. I'm sure you'll see it for the next couple weeks. Just floor it. free grinding rail for any skateboarders. Floor it and hit the brakes. All right, so back in the shop, basically the tube laser part is set where it needs to be, and then this section will line up with that, and those will close together. And then that other big white enclosure that was outside will go over this end of the tube laser section, and then this whole part right here will basically plug in right here. So this whole machine will basically be right here. So we still have all this wide open in the shop. I'm not sure if we're gonna build the mezzanine above this section or if we're gonna do it above the whole thing over here. So yeah, this will basically just be our laser processing section. We're gonna add some workstations or workbenches over here for the parts that we're cutting and or pulling out. And then it'll be in line for the press brake, which will be arriving tomorrow, and that'll go right here. So the press brake I got is a 84-inch wide bed on it, and it's multi-axis back gauge. So we'll be able to laser right here, bring those parts over here, form them, and then they're ready for welding or for the fab shop. And then right here, we're gonna do a material rack for all the flat plate. So I never wanna run out of material, so we're ordering a ton of material, all the stuff that we use mainly. And then we'll have a rack right here, so we'll be able to come in, pull sheets off of there, put it right in the machine and get to work. And then we got a pretty good size open space right here. I don't want to put vehicles or anything over here, but I think we're going to do like a CNC tube bender for like the tubing that we laser that needs bending. So I don't want to outsource that, and I don't want to use just our regular hydraulic bender. So yeah, I think right here will be like the area for the CNC tube bender. Pretty much just a manufacturing facility over here to build all the trucks that we build over there. All right, back over here on Dan's truck with Chase. What are you working on?
Doing a bunch of sheet metal on the floor, getting this all sealed up. Just finished the big panel, the big tricky panel.
Why was it tricky?
Because it's not a perimeter. If it were to just go around, it would have been a lot easier, but the throat on our bead roller isn't that big, and we don't have a table for it, so I have to get Evan to kind of help me with it. But then when you get into spots like this, well actually this was fine because it was able to clear the throat, but then once you got to something like this, you had to try and start it either just before or in the middle of the bend, and then run your whole perimeter, and then once you got to that side you had to stop, went in here, came back around this way to finish the bend, and then did the same thing on the other side to be able to get that shape in the panel.
Yeah, so usually there's just one start and stop point on a bead roll. This one was multiple because, you know, to get in there, you can't fit it in the throat of our bead roller. So we should probably just buy a bigger one then, huh? Which it would have been fine if we just did a perimeter like what we usually do. But since the third seat is here, I wanted this shape in it that kind of gives you a perimeter around the seat. Looks nice and, you know, gives it a bunch of added strength and rigidity. Bead rolls aren't just for looks, they're, you know, they add some rigidity to the panels. Yeah, it'll probably end up being covered in carpet anyway, but it looks really nice. And then what are you working on, the front ones right now?
Yeah, so it's gonna have a different bead roll in it because the seat mounts have to kind of shift backwards, and so I'm gonna tie this panel into the next panel. You get kind of a rough idea of what it's gonna sit on, why there's this brake right here, is to land that onto it, and it has something strong on the back side. It acts basically as another tube, and it keeps the panel nice and flat.
Yeah, so adding the bend right here makes this panel rigid, and then it gives another place for this panel to tie into. Instead of just going corner to corner with, you know, thin sheet metal, you don't want to do that. We always try to bend, tip a flange on the end, so this panel can kind of lay into that, and then we can weld into there, and it just kind of gives it some structure, especially on open corners that don't have like a tube for it to land on. And then he's got the other main center panel.
We'll get cleaned up.
Oh, and you got that one in there too.
Yeah, that guy.
So big firewall access panel there. Hopefully you never have to get back there, but sheet metal's coming along. Seat mounts in the front will be next, and then we'll start working on pedals and steering column. Good job.
Thanks.
Wait, take it out and put it back in again.
That's what she said.
All right, back over here on the D90, we got Oscar working on these front tubes, getting the engine cage all tied in. We got it back up on the table just because we ran out of room, clearly. So we got the Raptor back over here. The rear end should be back from powder coat tomorrow. And that thing will be on the wheels and pretty much just button up a couple little things and go drive that thing. Just get these 1¼ inch tubes in, both sides. So they're a little different, like visually this side, this tube is closer to the flange right here. But we made them identical since each side of the firewall is different. We made the tubes identical instead of making one tube further back than the other one. So I wanted it symmetrical from here forward. Yeah, next up is just steering and track bar on this thing. More D90 progress. Where is this stupid thing? Stupid Fords. Oh, hand stuck. This really doesn't work. It's like stuck. No, it's literally like stuck. There it goes. I was just doing it wrong. Look at that. I don't think we've ever shown that yet. Yep, that's a twin turbo Coyote V8. And cool thing about Fords, which isn't cool, is they don't have dipsticks. So we got this cool unit from B&M and we're gonna put a dipstick in it so we can know where the transmission's at because we added the oil coolers in the back. So this thing have a lot more fluid than stock. Dewey's gonna mount this right now and I'm gonna supervise. All right, back here on the Raptor, little update. Fenders are on, taillights are on, tailgate's in, bumper's on, complete. This is our Chevy bumper. We modified it to work on the Raptor and it worked out literally perfect. Got the access panel covers in here. The transmission coolers are plumbed. They're wired, the fuel filler's in. All the fuel cell plumbing, oil cooler plumbing's done. All the wiring except for just a couple of these I gotta button up and get the license plate frame with a light. And then the back of this thing is completely done until, you know, we get the rear end and the shocks in it. What you working on?
We have uniball caps for all of our upper control arms.
Yep, a few hundred of those. Working on some more TRX rear billet arms. Some more of those over here. So these are pretty much ready for Op 2. We just wanted to get the second op on those dust caps done before we started Op 2 on these. 5-axis is busy making our Trx Leveling Kit. So it's a preload collar, clamps onto your stock shock. It preloads the coil plate up and then gives you a level ride height and you can clear 37-inch tires. So it keys in, super nice, cheap way to level your truck out and doesn't max out your CVs either because it's just preloading the existing shock. It's not making it longer or anything like that. And they actually ride really nice. Some people ask if it gets stiff if you preload the shock like that, but it actually, I think it stiffens it up to where it needs to be because they're kind of soft out of the box. It's a nice addition, and with 37s, I think they drive a lot better than with 35s. These are ready to go. Kibbetech.com. What are you working on? Show everyone what you're working on.
I'm working on a Raptor front long travel kit. This is for the 17 at 20, but it's also compatible with the 10 at 14. So on this kit, Ryan had a crazy idea of doing a billet spindle. So
Yep.
that spindle is going to be one piece, billet 70-75. So what is also unique to the long travel kit is it integrates a sway bar, a front sway bar. So majority of the kits on the market don't have any front sway bar features. This whole kit was drawn from scratch. We got a lot of neat features in here. So we're gonna run a 10-10 shock combo, 3.0 coilover, 4.0 bypass combo, roughly 17.5 inches of travel. Lock out the cams, center slot them, vertical unit balls up and down.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a pretty ridiculous long travel kit for Raptors. Pretty much just want to do something different than what everyone else is doing. So figured billet spindle, and then we're gonna make our own like big brake package for it. It'll run the OEM unit bearing, and then we'll run a 14-inch rotor with like a 6-piston Willwood or something like that. So we're not gonna build that spindle around factory calipers. So this kit will have like a Willwood big brake, but you could also do like a Brembo or Alcon or something like that, because it'll have a radial adapter mounts on it, and then you could just make your own radial adapter mount for pretty much any caliper you want. And then we're gonna run the RCV axles, front billet, spline sway bar. On these pockets down here, we actually cut away the stock pocket because those things always catch the ground and they fold under into your arm. And then we'll have this little box end plate for the bottom. Keep those pivots from smashing in on the A-arm. And then we're also thinking about just making a whole new front cross member for that kit. That'll just keep the stock steering and all that stuff. It'll just be like a beefy 4130 cross member, because a lot of people basically just taco those front cross members. So pretty excited about that one. And that'll be going on the Raptor that's in the shop. But for now, it'll just leave how it is with the stock front end and the short course link, and then it'll come back for this. This is a 07 to 18 Chevy 1500 four-wheel drive long travel kit. So pretty much same features as our two-wheel drive Chevy kit, and similar features like the Raptor. So 3.0, 4.0 shock combo, similar travel, well, like 17, 18, and then billet front sway bar option, all 4130 TIG welded lowers and uprights, billet upper arms, billet tie rods, and then it has a big machined like faceplate on it as well. So yeah, that'll be cool. A bunch of people have been asking about that one for years, and we've had it on the to-do list for, I don't know, 10 years probably. So just kind of getting caught up on things we want to make. All right, time for the questions on YouTube. Julius Hines. Julius. Remember Orange Julius? That place is so good. With the huge growth of the machining department, any exciting new tools or fixtures? Or another 5-axis, or adding 4-axis to the VF4. I mean, I want a VF7 and I want to add a 4th axis to the VF4. So maybe next year. I think I just spent enough money in tools today. All right, here's a cool one from David M. You guys ever do a mid-engine where the motor is backwards and goes into a V-drive setup? I saw one of Robbie Gordon's trucks like that back in the day. Well, there was a few Robbie Gordon trucks like that back in the day. We haven't built one like that yet, but I would like to in the future, so it's definitely been on my radar for a long time. I'm sure we'll end up doing that one day. Tyler Foland, any TRX builds in the pipeline similar to the Raptor? Yep. Chadwick Blum, wish you guys would do a final picture with profile and insides for every truck you guys do. Maybe put them on the website. You guys do the best customs. I wish I could see them all. I've actually had a thought about doing that for a while. Just I gotta go through 20,000 pictures and remember how many trucks that we've built from the ground up, and yeah, probably get a list of them on the website. That'd be pretty cool. Do you guys laser your tubes in-house? We do now. All right, that wraps up another episode for this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, tell your buddies, all that good stuff. Go to our website, buy some t-shirts. See you next week.